We're going to bring y'all into our huddle.
Today's Wednesday, October 9th, 2013, and you are in the NBA Huddle with me, Bram. With me, as always, my boy and producer, Scott.
Scott here.
And with us for the first time, yet another new addition to the Huddle, my boy Tommy, a huge Warrior fan, and perhaps more importantly for today's purposes, a guy with just a shit ton of connections to the Bay Area's club scene. What's going on, Tommy?
Chilling. Do we only have Bud Light in this motherfucker?
Okay, I mean, just jumping right off into the alcohol, huh?
Really, dude?
Yeah, just be happy we have something.
God damn it, you know I drink Heineken.
I guess we'll jump into a quick piece of housekeeping before the actual intro. One of the things that we are doing today is celebrating our 13,530th listen, and as Tommy has already kind of announced and really blew the surprise.
What?
We are drinking throughout today's episode. So please pause if you can. If your time and situation allows, go grab yourself a beer and come on back and press play. Drink with us because we are celebrating today.
That's the most random number. Why'd you pick that as the one to celebrate?
I've wanted to at 10,000, you guys were down. I wanted to at 12,000, you guys were down. So I figured 13,000 and filthy alcoholic like Tommy in here, we might as well attack it.
Look, I didn't even know it was a special occasion to have fucking beer here.
Well, I tell you what, if
you don't have beer all the time, I wouldn't have even shown up this bitch.
If you don't like Bud Light, you can bring your own beer, you bastard. Now, that said, we do have big things to talk about since it's been a little while since the last podcast. We're going to go through the first 3 preseason games Warriors have played so far and also listen to a couple of sound clips from the immortal Jerry West takes he recently offered about Golden State. And then in a brand new segment, one entitled Club Tales, Tommy's going to tell us a little about some of the shit he's seen athletes get into while enjoying the Bay Area's nightlife. But first, a little bit of housekeeping. Let's get the easy one out of the way. Uber is still our sponsor. I won't limit it to drinkers. If you are looking for a ride, don't feel like finding a cab or the money to pay for it, push a button and they come to you. Tommy, you ever fucked around with Uber?
Yes. Actually, Uber... Up until one point, before I bought a car, that was my primary method of transportation, especially when women were involved. And drinkers, you should use Uber at every available opportunity. That's how I tend to get home. Uber drivers are very, very reliable and very, very lenient.
Oh, this might be an Uber night for Tommy, I think.
I don't think that there's any question at all. Thank God he fucking hates Bud Light. He would have finished everything we have here.
Yeah, whatever, dude. I'm on number 8. Don't judge me. I don't care.
Another couple of quick housekeeping announcements, both equally kind of exciting. One, we talked about changing our name, Scotty. We've been talking about it for, months now.
Long time.
We announced the possibilities. We never actually announced the choice, and we finally come to it. Why don't you let them know what we're going to be?
Warriors Huddle. That was the winner.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it.
It's simple, keeps the Huddle thing up, but finally at least announces that we have some kind of fucking connection to the Warriors, which is
what I wanted all along.
Right from the beginning.
Yep.
I mean, I won't lie. You definitely called that right from the jump. What do you think, Tommy? Warriors Huddle, you like it?
I think this is really good development in the entire history of the blog, the show. It's not a blog.
No. Did you almost vomit halfway through that sentence?
We don't need to talk about that.
I mean,
so it's www.warriorshuddle.com.
That's right.
Is that what we're doing?
Great question. Yeah. Exactly right. What we are going to do is slowly make our way towards that name. So come the opening night, October 30th, is when we are going to make the switch. Everybody, please keep that in mind. The next few weeks, you'll still find us under NBA Huddle. We'll still be on the iTunes link for NBA Huddle. But after the opener, remember, you'll have to find us on Warriors Huddle because that's going to be the name following that. The next announcement is equally as important, but maybe not so happy. We had the first week with our boy Robert the intern last week. I thought he was pretty solid, added a little legitimacy.
So did I.
I mean, I really enjoyed having him a part of the show.
No, he was great.
He was absolutely great. Well, unfortunately, between then and now, Robert left us the following voicemail.
Hi, Scott. This is Robert, the intern. I'm calling to tell you that I won't be able to continue on with you guys with the podcast and the website. I was offered a job today, and I decided to accept it. And because of the hours and the schedule, like I said, I won't be able to continue on with the podcast and the website. And like I said, based on the schedule, my school schedule and everything, unfortunately, I won't be able to continue on with you guys at the podcast or the website. So I apologize for the inconvenience. I thank you for the opportunity and for the friendliness and everything that you guys allowed me to do and were going to allow me to do. As I said, I was offered a job that I accepted, and because of its schedule and my school schedule, I won't be able to continue on with you guys at letsgowarriors.com. So call me back if you have any questions. All right, bye.
I have multiple questions about this goddamn voicemail. First of which, I couldn't tell. Is he going to continue on with the show and the website?
Maybe just the website?
Yeah, okay. Could be either. Jokes aside, I'm going to come clean. This hurt my feelings. I was all happy to have him on board. I thought he really liked working with us. Then we get this goddamn voicemail that lasts somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes. Scotty's going to edit this down, so you guys might not get the full actually take. But here's my first question to you guys. Was that a lie?
No, I think it was legitimate. I don't think you leave that long a voicemail, and the tone, the story makes sense to me. I think it was legit. I do, thought he had a good time here. I thought he liked this, and I think he was genuine. It was
the length that made me question his genuineness. I mean, if he had just dropped that really quickly, I would have felt a lot better. He said the same reasons like 4 times.
You're nervous. It's not an easy call to make. I'm sure he had I know that when I call somebody, I often have a voicemail prepared to leave just in case they don't pick up, because things can really get awkward on voicemail when you leave them. So I think potentially he had that ready to go, and voicemails get awkward.
Okay, 2 questions. Let's start with you, Tommy. 1, was that a lie?
Well, first of all, that is the longest, most stuttering, fucking blithely absurd fucking apology and fucking quitting of a job I've ever heard of in my life.
Is stubbering a word?
Yes, it is.
It is, okay.
It only really applies to this asshole.
This word here.
In this particular set of
kind of a
circumstances.
specific one, yeah.
He was stubbering.
He was stubborn.
Yes,
okay.
that is specifically what this jackass was doing.
Fair enough, which
My
leads me...
fucking God.
Leads me to question number 2. Scotty, what the hell do you mean you have a pre-prepared voicemail when you call people? Do you, write something down?
No, just in my head, I have something a little rehearsed, because I'm telling you, things, if you don't have that, voicemails get so weird. All of a sudden, you're talking, you find yourself in this weird place. You can't stop the recording. I mean, it really helps to have things prepared.
Every voicemail Scott's left since 1996 was pre-recorded.
I think you should start pre-preparing your takes for this show, and it might go a little bit more smoothly.
Whoa, that's totally uncalled for. I feel.
Can I please be responsible for firing your interns?
No, we don't have an intern, unfortunately. We've now lost it entirely. Well, my deepest thanks goes out to Robert. He helped us. I mean, this cut me deep. We had such a deep relationship after the 30 to 45 minutes we spent together. So we best wish you the absolute best of luck in the fake job that you apparently just lied about, and hopefully you land on your feet.
Yeah. Good luck, Robert.
Let's go into the Warriors update, baby. And for the first time in a long time, we got past scores and current standings. The preseason has started. We are 3 games deep. Season's finally started, Scotty. We got big things to talk about.
I feel like you're hiding your enthusiasm there. That was not a very enthusiastic take. You just dropped, hey, we got scores and schedules. Dude, the season has started.
It's still preseason.
The season has started.
Yeah.
Basketball is back.
All right. No, I feel that. Should we try it again?
Yes.
Let's do it again. All right. Season's back, baby. Let's go. The whole.
There you go.
Yeah, did you like that?
That was better.
Right. That felt faked and forced, but we'll pick it up from there. There has been, in fact, 3 games since the last podcast. Saturday, October 5th, a 104-95 loss to the filthy Lakers. That one was in Ontario, which was random as shit. I guess they don't play their preseason games actually in LA. Then they played Monday, October 7th, a win over Sacto over at the Cali, a game I actually got to go to. And then they finally played one Tuesday, just last night, October 8th, a 101-78 ass-smashing loss to Utah, making them 1-2 through 3 meaningless games so far. Want to go through the games. We don't have to go through them one by one. That's ridiculous for a preseason. So I have a couple things that I've highlighted. I want your guys' opinions on. And then if you've got anything else that pops up, naturally feel free to talk about them. First one is the starters. One of the largest issues going into this offseason was who is going to start. There's going to be 2 of the following 3, Iguodala, Klay Thompson, Harrison Barnes. And looking to what the hell Mark Jackson during this preseason might give us a clue about what his plan is when the season actually starts up. Game 1 Game 1 and Game 2, it was Harrison Barnes, Andrew Bogut, David Lee, Steph Curry, and Andre Iguodala. So basically he sat Klay Thompson. And then in game 3, he brought Clay in and sat down Harrison, making it Bogut, Lee, Curry, Thompson, and Iguodala.
Sorry, you said games 1 and 2, Clay sat.
Clay
and game
sat,
3,
Harrison sat.
Harrison sat.
Exactly right. Clay has come out and said he doesn't care at all, said he's going to make a fight for the Sixth Man of the Year, and Jackson came out and said, don't read anything into this. In fact, quote, don't read anything into whatever way I go. I could have gone any way. I probably changed it 5 different times. It had nothing to do with anybody's camp. So
that's total garbage.
I
don't believe that at all.
Okay, why?
Because the first 2 games of preseason, you sit Clay, that is sending a message. There's no way. I mean, whoever you sat was going to send a message.
Right.
So it was really surprising to me because all along I had thought Harrison Barnes would be the better 6th man to come off the bench. I don't think Klay Thompson is a guy who comes off the bench well.
He actually played well twice, but I agree with you, especially that he did it twice in a row. You know, if you're playing around with matchups, you're playing around with possibilities, you don't go with the same lineup twice in the first 3. I mean, he brought in Klay for the 3rd one, but it was perhaps a message. Do you care, Tommy?
Vaguely. I mean, I agree with you guys in general. Like, Clay's a starter. He's not somebody who comes off the bench well. We're in preseason. Generally, I don't give a shit, and I can see Jackson, like, playing with lineups, seeing how people respond to different situations, seeing what would happen, you know what I mean? Like, we could see a situation where it might make sense to have Harrison actually start and bring Clay in off the bench, let Harrison absorb a bunch of fouls, Clay come in for like late in the game shooting and be able to be available. Like, I could see that making sense. Do I care? No, not really.
I'm with that. The reason I don't really care who's going to start is that the bottom line, and we've touched on this in past episodes, that all these guys are going to play starters minutes. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter who's actually going to line up at the tip. Those 6 players, Bogut, Lee, Curry, Thompson, Iguodala, and Harrison Barnes are all going to play 35 to 30
But
minutes.
it does matter. It does matter. Because some guys can come off the bench. Look, you warm up, and then you sit on the bench, and then you have to come in after being cold. Some guys can do that. And some guys can't do it. And some people have played, actually all these guys have been starters throughout their whole career. But some guys, you have like Vinnie Johnson at the Pistons. They called him the microwave. He could come off the bench, just heat it up. You had guys like Nate Robinson, similar thing. I'm not sure. So you have to find that guy. Is it going to be Klay Thompson? Can he deal with sitting down like a Manu Ginobili can?
You're talking about mentality. I mean, you got to have the right personality for the person to be able to succeed coming off the bench. I think, and I don't know this, and maybe the preseason will tell us, maybe the season will tell us, I think that the current culture of this team, and Mark Jackson specifically, what he's doing, how he's in all these guys' ear, I think that if anybody and if any team can create that mentality for someone who doesn't have it, it's this one. These guys have all bought in. They all think that they're going to get over 50 wins. They're all eager to take that last playoff season and push it up to the next level. And because of that, he can come to any of them, at least any of those 3, and explain to them, look, your best asset for us is coming off the bench. And I think that they'll buy it.
They may buy it, but it's still going to take time to develop that mentality of coming off the bench when any of these guys have ever done that in their career.
But I like to think that's what Jackson's doing right now, is seeing how they respond to these various situations. Because if we're doing real game shit, I don't think that's I don't think these lineups are going to actually happen. I like to think that like Jackson's like looking at what's going to feel for.
That's probably right. That's probably what he's doing.
And for Klay to come off the bench and see how he responds, and
which would make sense why you're putting Klay on the bench for the second game. If you are consistently rotating these players through, they're going to recognize that, and you're not going to get a clean look at how they're actually working off the bench. They think the only reason they're on the bench is because Jackson wanted to see it once, whereas if you put him in multiple games, he shows up for that second one, finds himself on the bench again. Now you're going to get a cleaner look at exactly how this guy's mentality is going to play as a 6th man. And for point of reference, the first game Klay came off the bench, he actually played pretty well. Ended up playing 38 minutes, went 11 of 18, and was the Warriors' high scorer at 26. And then the second game coming off the bench, I was just as hot, actually. Played 30 minutes, went 8 of 17, and put up 17. So I think he's got a real shot at maybe being that guy as a 6-man candidate.
Well, this assumes that Jackson is choosing one person who's always going to be on the bench. And that may not be the case because you play different teams different nights, so matchups may be different. So maybe part of it, the reason why he sat Clay the first two nights is because he thought Harrison matched up better against those starters. And in the third game, he thought Clay would be a better person to start.
I really hope that's not Jackson's approach. We will find out, but I think there's something to be said about people understanding their roles as a year unfolds. And if he's consistently changing these guys around, if one day Harrison's coming off the bench, one day Iguodala's coming off the bench, one day Clay's coming off the bench, I don't think that's a good idea. But, here's a news flash. Nobody hired me to be the Warriors coach, so obviously in Jackson we trust. Let's move over to another observation I had, that being Iguodala's play so far. I had a chance to watch all of these games. Iguodala's offense has been a little bit inconsistent. He's been playing well, but he isn't the focal point that he was in Denver, and we knew that. But his effect has been amazing. This guy is the perfect complement to this team. He gives us all the things that we thought that he might. He is a defensive whirlwind. I have not seen this many deflections on the defensive end since we believe.
For that first game, I think he played only like 15 minutes or something,
right,
and had 5 steals, or maybe it was the second game, but something where he just played a ridiculously small number of minutes, and the idea that you could get 5 steals in that period blew my mind.
And he's a plug and play. You can, on the defensive end, you can put him wherever the hell you want. He can guard almost every position minus the center, and whatever it is that this team is lacking, that's what he can actually add to the floor. If you don't have a post defensive guy, he can come in and help there. If you need someone to lock down a perimeter threat, he can come in and help there. And he's already figured that out. You can tell the defensive end is coming a lot easier and a lot smoother, and it should. Defense is defense.
You can never have an off day on defense.
Right, and he knows how to play that. The defense he was playing in Denver is going to be the exact same defense he is playing here. Offense, not so true, but all that takes is a little bit of time, build up some chemistry with these guys. I honestly believe that he is going to be the best acquisition of any team during the offseason, and that includes Dwight Howard, the diva bitch.
Right, because part of an off-season acquisition is how that person fits into your team.
Mm-hmm.
And he, like you were just saying, I mean, he just fits so well into this group of guys, especially when you have Clay and Harrison who are kind of trading off between being on the bench and not. He can plug both those spots seamlessly.
When he's not pressing, I mean, you'd think that, like human nature says, when you're in those first couple of games, you're going in there and you're trying to impress everybody. You want to score the first 10 points, or you want to have some nasty-ass dunk, or you want to block some shot into the stand so that we all think, my God, this guy's worth every dollar we gave him. Instead of doing that, what it looks to me is he's looking around the court and seeing what's needed to actually help the team in that given moment.
He's not that type of guy who needs that. He really isn't. I think, and at this point in his career, he doesn't need to prove it. He's already proven it. He's also been on an Olympic team. I mean, the guy has serious credentials,
right,
where he doesn't have anything to prove.
Exactly right. Well, welcome aboard, man. I've been really happy with that. And then the final observation I've had is Bogut's new appearance. They've talked about it in the media. I'm sure all of us have seen pictures, but seeing it in person was a different thing. This guy's lost 20 pounds. Easy. He is remarkably thinner. I mean, you notice it right off the bat. He is far more spry. He is far more happy. The entire attitude and appearance is a whole new ball game, and I think we can expect huge things from Bogut this year. In fact, fantasy note, you might want to look for this guy on the back end of 4th or 5th round.
And play him early in the season before things start to go awry.
Nothing's going awry. Are you listening to me? He's thinner and healthy, Scott.
He is healthy, and I think that's just a massive, massive thing for him to continue to keep the weight off as the season starts, start to be on the road. You got fast food.
Well, all that free food around the facility,
all
too.
the free food. He loves the free food.
Not as much as you do, though, Scott.
How about that's probably true. That's definitely true. How about Draymond Green? What about his weight?
You can tell it on the bench. He hasn't been getting any kind of the time, but he definitely has lost an equal amount. And before we get too far away from Bogut, let me also note, I am sure that every portion of his game is equally improved, but his rebounding has been the thing that stuck out to me. In Game 1, he got 12 boards in 17 minutes. In Game 3, he got 10 boards in 23 minutes. I think when this guy's putting up 30, 35 minutes, he is going to be a monster in the paint. Draymond, I haven't noticed as much. My big thoughts on him came from an article I read recently where he was talking about how he loves being the asshole in practice, that his role is to piss off all the starters, and that if he leaves a practice and someone like David Lee or Steph Curry or Bogut is not pissed off at him, then he has not done his job.
That's great.
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, that's exactly what you want.
And he does it. I mean, he did it last year in games. Remember that game in Miami? He was going at LeBron. He's not going to back down.
I'm thinking big things, man. And my final preseason take, I need your guys' opinion. It's more of a personal story than it is a Warrior take, but an important one to me. As I mentioned, I went to Game 2. It was the first home game, a home preseason game against Sacramento. Kind of a shitty game.
Mike Malone, though.
It was Mike Malone. I didn't really care
Good
about
call.
him.
Yeah, I think he tried to downplay it like it wasn't a big deal coming back facing his former team. Mark Jackson did the same.
Carl Landry as well. I mean, it was also his huge return. And there's other connections. The owner, whatever that Radomir, it used to be the minority owner here in Golden State, and he's now over in Sacramento. And Chris Mullin, working with him too. But in this in particular one, go with a friend. We drink pretty heavily, having a good time. And somewhere around the second quarter, my friend's boss, who is also at the game, comes up to our seats and says, "What's up?" In fact, my friend's boss is with his 5-6-year-old daughter. And I'm fairly drunk. I mean, not like inappropriately drunk, but fairly drunk and worried about somehow screwing up the relationship between my friend and his boss. So I'm desperately trying to come up with conversational topics, and I had just recently found out that our tickets let us go through this new entrance, like this VIP entrance that's pretty nice. So I bring that up, and I'm like, "Oh man, have you tried this entrance? It's it's fairly awesome." And the guy looks down, looks at me, and he goes, "They let you guys go through the VIP entrance?" Not joking, not joking at all. I mean, like really, like he was legitimately concerned and a little bit condescendingly upset that they would let us, lower.
It wasn't just a joke.
It wasn't. It was absolutely. It was dead. He looked me right in the eye, Scott, and he asked me that for sure. I have not been big league like that. I mean, since high school. It's been a goddamn long time.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I tuned out for a little while. Who was this asshole?
Jesus Christ! When you say a little while, do you mean 20 minutes? I mean, you haven't said shit for 15 and took a piss
No, I
at
was
one
paying
point.
attention to most of it, but whoever this guy is, that slit me. Who's this dickhead?
This is a friend's immediate boss. So if that's you guys and someone's boss, a friend's boss comes up and big leagues you in front of him, do you say something back? Do you just allow it to happen? I mean, what's the right move there?
No, at that point, he is your boss too. So you take every second of that.
What?
Absolutely.
Let him finish it out. I think you might be right.
Absolutely. You are basically employed by that guy. Welcome to not being the boss. And you just take that. And plus he's got the kid there too. That adds a whole nother X factor to this, how messy this is going to get.
How about you, Tommy?
How good of a friend is this?
Good.
Good.
Very good. One of my best friends.
One of your best friends.
Uh-huh.
This is bullshit. First and foremost, that situation is like the definition of fucking sucks.
Jesus.
Second,
tell us how you really feel.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Because I would want to shit all over that guy's entire parade immediately.
What would you say?
Everywhere. I don't know, my friend. I don't know. But I'd pay somebody to figure out exactly what I should say to
Would
that
you do
individual.
kind of a slow burn thing where you don't say anything right then, but then try to shoot
I mean,
a
what would I
dagger
say?
back?
What did this guy say? Say it again.
If he's hiring a
What
writer,
did this guy say?
then it has to be a slow burn approach, because otherwise you're not going to really get that comeback immediately.
What did this asshole say?
How many writers have you hired for?
Three so far. I mean, so we'll see whether or not that actually plays out.
It's a really complicated process. You don't want to get into it. What did this dickhead say?
What he said was, they let you guys go through the VIP entrance. And I really have to underline, I have a very good nose for sarcasm. I understand that could be received
They
as a
let
sarcastic
you
take.
guys go through the VIP entrance.
Exactly right.
They let you guys go through the VIP entrance.
I'm sorry, are you explaining to me why I should be upset? That's
No,
why I brought this up,
No,
man.
I need confirmation.
Would you like me to say it again? I mean, holy shit.
Yeah, actually.
Okay, that's what he said. Yes, confirmed.
Dude, that shit is the most incredible set of bullshit I've ever heard.
It's really not that bad of a comment.
I think
Scotty, can we wait for a second?
I'd call him racist.
Give Tommy some time to go hire a writer so that he can have a comeback now. I mean, it'd be nice to actually get a finish to where
This is what I'm doing.
Holy shit.
This is what we do.
You can see him. He's still trying to think of what he would say.
Yeah, no,
He's just trying to kill time for that.
I
there's no
texted my
question.
writers. I'm waiting on a fucking response.
Okay, well, we'll come back to you. It sounds like you would have been angry about it.
Fuck you twice, fam.
What do you want from me? Jesus Christ. Well, I guess we'll come back. Scott, I actually handled it exactly like you did. I mean, I was so embarrassed of myself, but the second he said it, I just nodded my head kind of sheepishly like, yeah, they did. You know, I looked at my friend who said nothing. It was a very, very difficult experience, made only worse by the fact that the belly touch usher was right behind us.
Oh, really? He's back.
There.
He's back.
He's there.
Same
baby.
section.
Same section. One of the upsides of this new entrance is I don't have to walk by him anymore. But we still exchanged a little bit of a look. Any semblance of respect he still had for me was immediately taken by this guy's boss.
Well, definitely not an upside for us and the listeners that you can't walk by him anymore.
Factually correct.
Racism.
All right, let's go ahead and move on. And as promised, I got at least one really great quote from Jerry West, a guy we don't get to hear from too frequently, and also a guy I'm so fired up to have as a member of the Warrior family, and someone I give a lot of the incidental credit to this huge turnaround we have. Anyways, here is Jerry West talking to Barnett about the Warriors.
We've got a couple of questions from fans already, Jerry. This is from @Amen, and it says, when the Warriors play the Lakers, who do you root for?
You got to be kidding. I only root for the Warriors. The Lakers were a huge part of my life, and I always admire the Lakers and treasure the years I was there. But, if you're competitive, you root for the people that you want to win. And I think it's going to be a great year for us this year. And, hopefully when we play the Lakers, we'll be able to do some good things this year, which we think we will.
We lose a lot from this not being a video podcast, one of which is the fact that Tommy continuously tunes in and out. You'd be able to see that, if we were actually watching. But two, the thing that we don't get to watch if you actually watch that clip is that when Jerry West is asked that question, who the hell do you root for? He stops and looks at Barnett like it was the stupidest goddamn question he has ever been asked.
You don't even have to see it to hear. I mean, you can hear it in his voice.
It's like, who the fuck do you think I root for?
I was actually stunned by that answer though.
Yeah.
If I'm Jerry West, I say I root for the Lakers.
Even now?
Yeah.
Jerry West is a businessman.
He's also seemingly someone who would tell you. If he actually did in his heart root for the Lakers, I bet you he would have come up with a little bit more of a diplomatic response.
I would have hedged it a little more than he did. I would have hedged it a little more.
Jerry West doesn't give a fuck about any of that shit. Homeboy is like, his greatest accomplishment is he somehow figured out how to be the logo for the NBA, and he loves that. Like, that dude's a businessman.
Who wouldn't love that?
But he's a businessman. Like, he loves that because he's
for that?
He's hell yeah.
You know what?
He gets a check every year, and it's huge.
I think that's a part of it.
I don't know about that.
I think more than a businessman,
Yes,
what
does.
Jerry West is a competitor. This guy wants to win at anything and everything. And one of the things that comes with being a competitor is you have one team, because two teams can't win. And what he has decided while working with these guys, if only one team can win, right now it's the Warriors. And that means something to me. I'm sure he didn't say he hates the Lakers. He didn't say he's cut off his history. He didn't say that meant nothing to him. What he said was that I want the Warriors to win. All right, let's move to the part I've been looking forward to, baby. Club Tales, and this one centers around you, Tommy. Why don't we start just getting a sense of how long you've been in the industry, and then I want to hear any observations you got. How long you been working in the clubs, man?
My old man opened a club when I was 14. I've been doing this shit for 30 years almost. 20 solid.
I was going to say, either you've been lying to me about your age or your math skills are
I'm
eroding.
56.
Yeah, my God. You look incredible, man. Good for you. What do you think, ballpark? How many events have you thrown?
Easy 1,000.
Yeah, bet. And can you tell us what clubs you generally fuck with?
Yeah, I do shit all over the country. Like, I've done everything all over the country, from Hawaii to Puerto Rico. I've done events. In the Bay, I do like probably 100 to 150 a year. Pretty steady.
Yeah.
I've done every.
That's a lot of events.
No doubt it.
Yeah, I've done every club. If it's actually a club where you should do some shit, I did something there.
And now, once you've set up the event, do you get to kind of cruise around and enjoy it? Wherever the hell it is, do you get to watch the crowd or what?
Yeah, it depends. It depends, like, how big the event. If I'm doing like a 10,000 person concert, I don't get a day off or any time off. If I'm doing mezzanine with like Mos or mezzanine with fucking 2 Chainz or some shit, sure. Once I get his ass on stage, I'm drinking.
That was supposed to be a setup question. The kind of thing like, oh, have you seen athletes out and about? Should we do it over again or?
Well, that would be awkward considering.
Let's try it again. That's
just
cool. Yeah.
recorded
So do you normally get to see people all around, or?
Yeah. I run into a bunch of different motherfuckers.
Now, real deal though. I mean, are athletes a part of these events? I mean, do you get a chance to kind of see the other side of this?
I think a huge part of nightlife in any city are athletes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the Bay is definitely not different from any. If anything, like with the championships we've been getting lately, Frisco.
Yeah. Oh. Let's cut that, Toddy. Let's go ahead and cut that part immediately. Well, I'm anxious to hear about any shit you got on the Warriors, man. Why don't we start current team? Any nasty stories on these guys, or do you go a little bit further back?
I mean, I'm not trying to do nasty stories in general. This team actually, like, these guys are incredibly responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I see cats out, every once in a while here and there, but nobody's ever drinking. Everybody's leaving early, like making sure they make curfew.
That's what I like
People
to hear.
are definitely, this team is serious about winning, which is what I like to see.
Do you think that is personality driven, or do you think it's organization driven?
I think it's both, man. I mean, honestly, I think compared to some of the Warrior teams that I've seen out and about since, like, I've been in the business, this team is much more. They feel like they can win, and they're willing to, like, take the steps to do it.
Right.
Like,
so they're
I've
being
seen,
careful off court,
for
just
sure.
like they are on.
Like,
Okay.
I've seen David Lee and, like, Steph and those dudes out when I was doing shit with David Chappelle, but, like, they would check out by 10:30. You know what I mean? Like, they caught the early show. They were in there by, like, 8. No drinks or fucking booze would get served to their area.
Well, that is
nothing nuts.
Awesome for the team and the organization, but bad for the segment. So let's move on. How about the We Believe team? That seems like the type of
that team
the group
seems
of
like it might
individuals.
have not been the same as this current team. I think they got out.
Them motherfuckers partied.
Yeah, you got something on here? Let us have it, man. Who'd you see?
I mean, the whole squad rolled for sure. It was an interesting, like, period of time to, like, be doing parties with those cats. Because, I mean, Barron was pushing it for sure. He came from LA, so he was coming from a culture and a background where, like, an athlete was also a superstar in the nightlife thing.
Yeah. And he could kind of craft that on his own, right?
Yeah, exactly. The Bay didn't have that so much, so if he wanted to throw a party, he obviously had the money to be able to bring in acts and shit like that. So I mean, he definitely pushed that forward. The rest of the team really wasn't that used to it for the most part, and the guys who were used to it didn't necessarily use it the right way.
I remember, before we move on to the next guy, I remember you telling me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Barron crafted his image in multiple ways. Not just setting up parties, but then when he appeared at parties, he'd have hella girls with him, but that wasn't incidental. That was something he had actually put together. Am I remembering
Yeah, I mean,
that
Barron
right?
would always roll through with a gang of chicks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was always limos and red carpet with him. He would throw the party, he put up the money. That's what he wanted.
Was that an image that he was just trying to craft for himself? Like he was trying to turn himself into the Don of the Bay Area party scene?
But I don't think he really wanted to be the Don of the Bay because he could not do that. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's going to take 40 or shorts because E40 or short, like, if you're going to be the Don of the Bay, like, he'd have to get in line. You know what I mean?
You'd have to win a championship.
I'd have to box that motherfucker. Like, and there's 6 people behind me who are much more deserving of the title.
Not sure I understood that.
There's
I don't
no
know
way
why you'd have to box him, but continue.
I think I understood. I think Tommy just put himself at number 7 on the Don of the Bay list, which is really unexpected.
Yes. Moving on.
My God. Who else did you see?
Who else from that team?
From the squad, I mean, Monte definitely rolled through. He was a really good dude. He was a rookie. I remember the first time I think it really felt like the first time he ever showed up to a nightclub ever in his life.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how it goes down in Memphis. I kind of know how it goes down in Memphis. No disrespect, Memphis.
I don't think he's from Memphis.
Y'all motherfuckers roll hard.
Mississippi.
I'm not trying to... Mississippi.
Yeah.
He's from Mississippi?
Yeah, for sure. Lanier High School, I think.
But
my geography's not too good.
But I'm
Memphis
sure
is
the
dope.
same
Mississippi, not too much is cracking in Mississippi. That makes a lot more sense.
Why I'm still confused. What was wrong with him showing up to the club?
Oh, so he shows up to the club, and my man has baggy jeans.
Okay.
Where'd he go to college?
Lanier High School.
I think he had an NC sweatshirt on. I think he had a North Cackalack sweatshirt on, tucked into his jeans with a big ass like Texas belt on that motherfucker. Like he looked like
sweatshirt.
That's
look.
huge. That is
wow.
a huge move.
He
And the
looked
belt just
like my
Elvis.
cousin Clayton. Like that shit was all fucked up.
Did he catch any shit? Did anybody say anything to him?
I mean, nobody's gonna, because I mean, you look. Obviously, homeboy's like 6'6", so it's not like he's your average dude in the club.
Yeah.
You're not gonna talk shit to him.
Right.
And then you look up, and then like Dunleavy and fucking Steven Jackson. You're hanging out with them. You're not gonna fuck
People
with the
aren't gonna say
light-skinned
anything.
black dude in the club with
not
his
sure
sweatshirt
that's
tucked
because-
into his fucking belt.
What I love is the kind of before and after picture that you're inadvertently painting here. You know, why don't we start with after? If we look, get a chance, go Google an image of Monte Ellis right now, and what you'll see is him smiling back in a Dallas uniform with more tattoos than you need to kill a small elephant. You know, I mean, he looks like the hardest person on earth. The picture you're painting before his NBA career is a hick from Mississippi who shows up, baggy jeans, sweatshirt tucked into the jeans. I mean,
Let's talk about the 3 hours like before he showed up to the club that night. He actually stood in front of a mirror and fucking dressed himself and tucked that sweatshirt into that belt and said, "You look good, buddy."
that is
Man, you had to
You
show
look
the belt off.
Fucking
That's exactly
great.
right. There are so many things I like about that take, starting with the idea that it took him 3 hours to tuck his shit into his jeans. You'd like to think he'd be able to get that done a little bit faster, but who knows?
It's about as long as it takes him to get a goddamn jump shot off.
Oh, it's just angry takes at Mississippi here. What'd you have
I
on
don't
Steven
want to offend
Jackson?
our friends in the South, huh?
What about
Yeah,
what
Captain
about Steven
Jack's got to have
Yeah.
some stories, man. Oh my God.
Oh, he's insane. He was
That came across more than, I mean, on the court you can kind of get that sense.
Well, I mean,
but
but
you
like,
don't know if that's just an image he's trying to put
no, there's
together
no
on the
image.
court.
He's legitimately insane. Like, we referred to him that night as the Black Unabomber. He fucking showed up, and my boy
This
showed
is another
up.
sweatshirt story. Then.
Hooded sweatshirt.
Oh my.
Hoodie pulled over his head with like blackout fucking sunglasses. Wouldn't look at anybody, never took anything off. And he rolls up to like there were two bars. And the VIP bar was bought out by Barron, and like that's like where my boys and me and like Barron and the Warriors were all hanging out. So obviously like you can do whatever the fuck you want up there. Like it's not gonna be an issue, you know? But Steph felt the need to assert himself in such a way where he reached behind the bar.
Steven Jackson, not Steph.
Steven Jackson.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not Steph. My bad. Not Steph. Steven Jackson. Steven reached behind the bar, took a goddamn bottle of fucking, I think it was Jameson, and just told the bartender, my boy Barron's got it. Walked away, sat down on a fucking bench, and drank that bottle to his face with his sunglasses on and his hood up. It was he frightened every white person in that nightclub.
What you know is that bartender did not hear those words at all. Like, he did not hear who was going to pay for it. He did not care. I'm saying probably had taken off his watch and given out his wallet, was getting ready to hand it over to, but decided, okay, all you want is a bottle? You know, I'm good with that.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, she wasn't even trying to think even that far. I think she ignored the fact that he took that bottle so she wouldn't have to even deal with it.
Mike D, you saw out and about? Mike D is a club goer?
Yeah, Dunleavy used to roll. He never drank. He was like the Boy Scout. But he brought his homeboy Sean Battier. You've never seen Shane Battier. Give me another drink.
All we have is Bud Light. Tell us about goddamn Shane and Mike
I
D.
need another drink. Shane, that motherfucker's head is the size of my, like, forearm.
It's fairly true.
It's incredible. He should rent himself out as a hammer. I'm like, I think outside of the playoffs, that's his best use.
I mean, we'll pass that along as possible side jobs for
He'll hit more nails than
for Sean
three-pointers
Battier.
until we hit the fucking playoffs, for sure.
But
Forehead down.
I am
Forehead down.
surprisingly more interested in Mike D's club going stories than I am of Sean Battier's head size. So what do you got?
I mean, that was Mike D's club story.
Just
I
the
met
fact
the
that
two
he
of
was
them.
out
Mike was
wasn't
really,
enough.
really nice. He introduced me to Shane Battier. And the only thing that I could think about was, wow, your foreheads are both the size of my entire
Excuse
body.
me, sir. Do you work as a hammer during the off season? I actually have a
Shane, I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but you have an entire career at your disposal.
And have you ever considered going by the word Sean instead of Shane? I actually have a random Mike D story that I could tell really quickly. Elephant and Castle is kind of a high-end Chinese restaurant and a bunch of different, or Chinese food restaurant in a bunch of different places, one of which is Emeryville, and my wife and I went to go grab dinner there. Crazy line out in front. One of the things we had to go and get a number and had to wait like 45 minutes, whatever it was. So we're sitting there waiting, and Mike D walks in, definitely didn't have a reservation, is waiting like the rest of us, is with a fairly hot girl, goes up to the maitre d' and asks, okay, how long of a wait? The guy says 45 minutes, and he kind of looks around, goes immediately back and goes, well, I'm Mike D, or Mike Dunleavy from the Warriors. And without missing a beat, maitre d' looks him right in the face, looks back down at his sheet, looks back up and goes, that'll be 45 minutes. So Mike D didn't even have clout in goddamn Elephant and Castle, man. You know, which is just unbelievable. Who else have you seen out there?
Mike D couldn't get a goddamn early drink in Elephant and Castle.
It's just so scandalous.
That is amazing.
What about Beejans? Was he?
No way.
Was
Did
he
you
out
see
there?
Beatrice out?
Was he on that squad?
Oh, no, I haven't seen Beejans since he was 19. Beejans used to show up to my shit all the time, but he was too young to even be in the nightclub. My bad, Andres. You were crazy young at the club on Market. I can't even say the name of the club because I like those folks and I want them to keep their liquor license.
That sounds...
He was so young, it was ridiculous.
That sounds fair.
I introduced Beejans to fucking Russell Simmons. Because Beejans showed up on the same night I was doing a Russell Simmons.
That is a random introduction.
There's no doubt there.
Yeah,
who wanted to meet who?
Nobody knew who anybody was. Russell Simmons didn't know who I was or how I was able to get that close to him. He had no idea who Beejans' big-ass Russian ass was. Beejans didn't know who I was, but he knew that I could kick him out if I fucking told the owner of the club that he was 19 years old. I was just sitting there thinking this was hilarious.
I've been in awkward interactions, but trying to tap dance and hold up a conversation between Beejans and Russell Simmons is a very bad position to be
So,
in.
Russell, do you know Latvian? I mean, like, what's the connection? You guys both like the color blue?
Let me tell you how you can do it. Jameson.
You just invite Steven Jackson in this bottle? Well, I'm sure we could do this all night. But I know that if we go any longer, Scotty is going to be furious and beat all of our asses. So why don't we call him
already
here?
furious.
That's exactly right. Huge fun kicking it with you
You don't want to
guys.
see Scott mad.
That's also
Don't
true.
want to see Scott mad.
We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us, especially now that the season is back up and running. Please remember a few things. Most importantly, like we said, Warriors Huddle. Once October 30th rolls around, we're going to change the name. That means you're going to have to go to a new place on iTunes to find the podcast. I would hate to lose any members of the Huddle. So whatever you need to do to remember that, write it down, think about it, say it 100 times, whatever. Remember that we're switching over on October 30th. Before we do the normal closing stuff, let me give you a quick quote. A pitcher named Dan Osinski was asked by a waitress once if he wanted his pizza cut into 6 or 8 slices, and he answered, better make it 6 because I can't eat 8. Huge fun, you guys. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at NBA Huddle. Our Gmail account, if you want to drop us a line, is nbahuddle@gmail.com. Our websites remain Let's Go Warriors and nbahuddle.com. And like I said, we can be found on iTunes, where we would love... where we would love you guys to find us. Drop us a rating, but only if it's a 5. And please subscribe. Thanks, you guys. See you next week.
These are the tales, the freaky tales. These are the tales that I tell so well. These are the tales, the freaky tales. These are the tales that I tell so well. I met this girl. Her name.
Good.